Judge Jeanine exposes Fani Willis on Trump in court. The end of this love story is coming soon. Let's take a look at it together.
A judge in Fulton County could rule at any moment on whether to disqualify Fani over her crazy, stupid love affair with Nathan Wade. He just delivered a massive blow, dismissing 3 of her counts against Trump in the Georgia election case, which even CNN admits is pretty embarrassing.
I don't think this ruling changes the type of evidence that the DA is going to be able to introduce, but it does knock out some of the charges. And look, it's embarrassing for prosecutors. It's a screw up by prosecutors when you bring a charge and then a judge throws it out before it even goes to trial.
And in what could be a huge win for Donald Trump, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg telling a New York court that he's open to delaying the Stormy Daniels hush money trial for 30 days, which was scheduled to begin on March 25th. Citing evidence previously possessed by federal prosecutors. Team Trump now sifting through a whopping 100,000 new documents. Remember, the feds are the ones who looked at the evidence and declined to prosecute Trump over the Stormy case.
God, we've been chewing this story up for so long. A Georgia court has found no reason to remove prosecutor Fani Willis from Donald Trump's election meddling case. The former U.S. president's defense had implicated her in a romantic liaison with Special Prosecutor Norman Wade, who is leading the case against Trump, but that didn't help. Shockingly, she managed to slip away.
Well, first of all, remember, we are 2 weeks away from the start of the Manhattan trial against Donald Trump. 2 weeks before the trial, the DA himself, Alvin Bragg, says he wants an adjournment because of discovery. Now, in New York, the discovery laws are very clear. If the defense does not get information, normally within 15 days of arraignment, that case is dismissed, finished. In this case, there is such a massive discovery violation against former President Trump. This case has to be dismissed.
It's very strange. The court found that the facts talking about a conflict of interest do not have sufficient substantiation, and therefore the requirements of Trump's defense in this matter cannot be satisfied. At the same time, the document states that since the appearance of impropriety remains, in order to continue the process, they must be properly resolved.
Good to be back with you. The judge has a strong opinion on this. I've not read. I don't think I can read it and try to respond at the same time. But if based on what you just shared, Judge, if indeed the U.S. Attorney's Office hadn't produced documents, I don't know what the rules are in terms of how can you go forward in another jurisdiction unless you fully disclose to everybody, including the defendant and the court. I don't know those facts. We'll have to wait and see. I think President Trump is also down in court today, I think down in Florida, before Judge Cannon's court. His team is urging that the case be dismissed there. I read some of that. I read some of their arguments, Mr. Trump's arguments there. I wasn't persuaded by his arguments in this instance. I'm more persuaded by what the judges said, but I don't have any reason to believe the judge is mischaracterizing this. Judge Cannon, I think, will tread very carefully down in Florida because the 11th Circuit has already overturned 2 of her rulings in this matter, and I think she should. And based on what little I saw from some of Fox News earlier, she had some very tough questions for Mr. Trump's lawyers. I've said from the outset, President Trump is presumed innocent. It is on the government to find and show that he committed some crime, and he should be afforded, as he is, every due process right that the Constitution allows, which is his lawyers are certainly making their case there in Florida. But if what the judge has characterized, how she's characterized what's happened here in the Manhattan DA's office, and in this case, this certainly is something that will be explored and studied here over the next several hours and days.
As far as I'm concerned, the evidence is overwhelming. Trump is innocent, full stop. The point is that many courts are bought and they are willing to drown a man for his innocence. Willis herself, speaking in court, did not deny a romantic connection with Wade. The defendants in the case insist on removing her from the process, and Trump himself called the situation disgusting.
Well, I'm afraid the judge and Harold have taken all my points. So instead, can we pull up the sketch again of, this is another amazing sketch of Donald Trump. He reminds me of Ron Ely when he played Doc Savage, just very masculine. I want someone to look at me the way the sketch artist looks at Donald Trump everywhere I go. But this brings up an interesting point. You know how presidents supposedly age faster when they're president?
Yeah.
With Trump, it's his critics. Look at Robert De Niro, right? And then look at Bragg. He's now like 5 Braggs. It's like one Bragg ate another Bragg. He's just bigger and bigger, like one of those Russian nesting dolls. I think the court cases are having the opposite effect on Trump. They hoped it would handicap him, and to some extent it did by narrowing, as I've said before, the amount of time spent on doing other things. It turns out that Trump, with less time on his hands, is a better Trump in general. And it's not just him. I think that these cases have also deepened and galvanized support. People see how the Democrats have galvanized lawfare to subvert an election by destroying the candidate. So it's creating a new persona for Trump, the defiant victim, who through his persecution represents everyone else who isn't a member of the approved elites and their pet causes. So you look at what's being done to Trump and you wonder to yourself, could they do that to me? You know, you're right. It is happening. They'll do it to you. Look what they did to a lot of the Jan 6ers, and they suppressed evidence while they were putting them on a public trial. So, yeah, it can happen to you, Jesse.
Oh, he's so right. I don't even have anything to add. Trump really wasn't broken, but also got stronger. People are giving Colossal support, and it makes him stronger. Do you agree with me? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to watch other shocking news on the channel.